Penn State is going to win 38-10 and move on to play the Broncos. That ties a school record with their 12th win of the season. Tyler Warren, as always, a big factor in their success offensively, but it was the defense that made the...
After we finished covering the parade, we decided to take the light rail into downtown Phoenix to check out their farmers market, which happens weekly in this same spot. Grabbed a breakfast burrito, which was pretty good, and then headed over to a brewery, Arizona Wilderness, I believe it was called. Super cool little spot. As a whole, downtown Phoenix didn't have a ton going on. But that brewery was super cool, and they had some good stuff. I liked the outdoor type theme that they had going on. From there, we went back to the hotel and hung out by the pool for a little bit. Even though it was the last week in December, the temperatures were a nice, warm, high 70s. And then we watched as the beautiful Arizona sun set. This would not be the last beautiful sunset we would have in Arizona. And this one we just watched from the hotel, but as you'll see, in the coming days, I tried to put myself in a better spot to watch the sunset rather than just the hotel lobby plaza area. But after enjoying some time with our free media pizza that we had, courtesy of the Fiesta Bowl, we got in a Waymo, which is a driverless Uber. So, has it been a busy night? Nice. Yeah. Thank you, Waymo. Thank you, Waymo. Bye-bye. We had decided to check out downtown Scottsdale, which is supposed to be super cool. Apparently, a lot of the Arizona State kids go out here, but because it was over winter break, it wasn't quite as crowded, which actually worked to our benefit because since we had a limited number of days, we wanted to see as much as we could, so we never really stayed for too long at any bar. We just kind of hopped from bar to bar. Shout out to my friend Will from my high school, who gave me some recommendations, and Haley had some recommendations from friends she knew in the area, so we kind of hopped around from bar to bar, checking out different ones, but ultimately the Rusty Spur Saloon was our favorite. Sunday was a day full of media events, so I got up and headed right down to the hotel conference area, which is where they had all the media day events set up. First up was Penn State. We started off with an opening statement from head coach James Franklin. Then I walked around, took a little peek at the trophy before talking to some of the players. I don't have a ton of clips from this time because none of our writers were actually able to head down to Arizona for the game. So I had to kind of act as a pseudo-writer during this. You can see here they Fiesta Bowl social media team did the trend where you give a player an old picture of him and have him sign it. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I was doing a lot of interviewing, which was kind of fun. Mixed it up. I was taking pictures too, but getting sound from players, answering or asking questions, hearing them answer questions from other reporters. Did a little bit of work in the media workroom before going back to Boise State, and did the same thing for Boise State. This one I focused primarily on Ashton Jeanty, best running back in the country. Got to ask him a question or two, which was actually pretty cool. And then from there, headed back to the media workroom to edit some of the pictures, which I'll show you guys now. And then I also wrote an article talking about Penn State's defense from Boise State's perspective through my conversation with Ashton Jeanty, which was pretty cool to write that piece. A lot of people seem to really like it, which is cool. Then headed to Penn State's open practice availability. This is just a short window where you get to go see Penn State practice. They didn't really do a whole lot, but it was at the Los Angeles Angels spring training facility, which is pretty cool. Stopped for a little bit at the pool before getting ourselves ready, and I decided to go for a little hike for sunset, so I didn't miss it. Yes, I'm hiking up this mountain currently in a robe. The sunset does not give me enough time to go back and put my robe away. So this trusty robe is coming with me. I'm not going all the way up, but I'm gonna go up enough to get a half decent view of the sunset and hopefully see no snakes or coyotes. Alright, on my way back down, in my robe still. My robe and I made it down the mountain, okay? No snake sightings unless one sneaks up on us in the parking lot. Head back to the room, get ready. The media party is tonight in downtown, Old Town Scottsdale, where we were last night. Not at a bar we were at though, new bar. But this sunset, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I had to robe and all go see it for myself. From there, I got ready and headed to the media party, which was at a bar called Poor Decisions in Scottsdale. Pretty cool spot. Food that they catered was actually really good. Sophie and I played some yard games, started with some cornhole, then made our way over to the Giant Connect 4. She whipped my butt in that. Went to a couple bars after that. Didn't have a ton of clips, but I had a pretty fun night. It was cool. Scottsdale's a great town. I'd love to go back one day, but that was it for that day. Monday was another media-filled day. Started bright and early at the joint head coaches press conference, so we heard from both head coaches at the same time. I then saw these cute little tropical birds before hopping in a media shuttle to the Phoenix Zoo, where they were having the Rhino, who was named Chutti, pick the winner of the game. The way that they determined the winner was really confusing. Initially they said the box that Chutti chose was the team that would ultimately lose, and they kind of flip-flopped it back and forth. After a bunch of stomping on both boxes and chewing of cardboard, the zookeepers ultimately decided that Chutti picked Penn State, which means that Penn State was going to lose. Again, kind of a real roundabout way of doing this, but if you follow college football, you'll know that ended up not being the case. Apparently this Rhino is like 0 for 4 all time or something like that in picking these games, so maybe they need to reassess how they decide, because if they just let Chutti pick the winner, I think Chutti would be right, like undefeated all time. Super cool to be that close to a Rhino though. I didn't have a ton of time to explore the zoo, but I did take a quick lap, saw some giraffes and some monkeys and stuff like that before making my way back to the hotel. Quick media lunch. It was some tacos. They're delicious, actually. Probably the best food I had all trip. And then thanks to Penn State professor and journalist Mike Poorman for organizing a visit to the Arizona Cardinal media facility. This was just for me and Haley and 2 other Penn State students who are part of Com Radio, another Penn State organization. We got to tour the Cardinals facility. We heard a press conference from the Cardinals head coach, and then headed back to the hotel where I did some work on a graphic. But that Cardinals experience was awesome. Here's a semi-final version of the graphic. I had to change a couple more things, but you got the idea. And then the sunset, another beautiful sunset in Arizona. And that night I went back to downtown Phoenix where I was on that first day and met up with my friend Aiden and his family at this awesome Mexican restaurant right in downtown. Special thank you to the Conrads for buying me a very delicious dinner. Aiden and I then went to watch some football, and I decided to once again hop in a driverless Waymo to get myself back to the media hotel. Couldn't get in the car at first, but yeah, ultimately made my way back to the hotel in this driverless car. It's still pretty surreal, but I really liked the privacy of the driverless car. Thanks, Waymo. Thanks, Waymo. Bye, Waymo. Thanks, Waymo. Bye-bye. Game day, which also happened to be New Year's Eve because this was a playoff game, but also a New Year's Six bowl game. Slept in a little bit because I'd had a couple late nights the previous night, and I wanted to make sure I was well rested because, as you'll see later, I had to get up very early the next day. So I slept in, got tons of sleep, made my way right to the stadium. I've done it a couple times now, but every time walking on an NFL field like this is just a surreal feeling. I always like to go up top to the bowl to see the whole thing while it's still empty. It's not an experience you can really get unless you're media, and it's just incredible. Ended up editing a panorama shot that I got from the bowl, which is pretty cool, and had the media meal before things really started kicking off. Penn State team arrival. I think it was Flavor Flav, is I think who that is. I'm sorry, I'm like not too much in tune with hip hop, but I know he's like a big Team USA supporter. He was at the Olympics all this summer, but apparently he has like a cousin or something that went to Penn State, so he's a Penn State fan. Anyways, I'm gonna sound really like out of touch there. I apologize, but went back on the field, shot Penn State warm-ups. There is the Nittany line with LeVar Arrington. The bands played, national anthem, and of course there were indoor fireworks because that's safe, I guess. I don't know, but I'll let you just watch in on some of this game stuff. I'm basically not allowed to film anything during the game with these playoff games because of the ESPN media rights deal, so I just edited some pictures, and there was a dog. But here are the pictures from after the game. I think I did okay. I'm not a huge fan of shooting indoors. I feel like I don't have quite the right camera gear for that. If I had a slightly nicer camera, it would be easier, and I won't get into the technical reasons of why, but I feel like I did okay. I got a couple good shots that I liked. Like I said earlier, Penn State won the game, all smiles. I won't, beat around the bush. This ended up being the last win of the season, as you guys will know what happens with the Notre Dame game. Still one video to come for that, but looking back on these videos now as I edit, really cherishing these smiles and happy moments. The last win of my senior year at Penn State. Got some pictures on the field.
Betty is blue!
And then generally just got our things together and made our way back to the hotel. I'll show you a couple more pictures from the actual trophy celebration. I love a good trophy shot. Even when Penn State loses big games like this, I'll always shoot the trophy. There's something about the pictures with the confetti in the background. But from there, we made our way back to the hotel, and, well, it was time to ring in the new year.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.